What's poppin', homies? Welcome back to another House of the Dead remake video. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the finer details that you'll need to know before you make the purchase for House of the Dead Remake, which will be coming out next week at the time of this video is posted. For reference, that will be April 7th, next week Thursday. Digital pre-orders are available as of today, the 31st of March. Don't forget that if you want to get yourself a physical edition, you're able to do that through foreverlimited.com. I'll post the links below in the description. There's 3 editions that you can get. There's an unlimited edition, a limited edition, and an exclusive edition. I'm not going to go through the contents of each one. I've already done that in a previous video. I'll leave a link below if you want to check that video out. It's much more informative and I go into much more detail about which edition has what. But that's not what this video is about. This video here is to tell you what you need to know before you make the final purchase for House of the Dead Remake. Before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe for more House of the Dead goodie stuff. Leave a comment depending on what you think about the game so far. And always, I appreciate if you leave a like if you found this video in any way, shape, or form informative. Because I know not everyone is a boomer like me. I want to make sure that those new guys that are in here that are looking at House of the Dead for the first time know what it is. As the name implies, the House of the Dead Remake is a remade version of the game introduced back in 1997 for the arcades. It was a rail shooter, which means you don't move your character. You just had a gun peripheral and your point was to shoot the bad boys. The point of this remake is to introduce a whole new entourage and gameplay changes to suit the modern gaming standards. The developer of the remake is Megapixel Studio. The publisher is Forever Entertainment. The game was originally developed by Sega AM1 Studios and published by Sega themselves. Now let's get into the nitty gritty of it. How much will House of the Dead Remake cost? It's going to be $24.99 US dollars. Same amount for euros. Whether that's a deal breaker for you, I'm not sure. It's going for a little bit more than what most indie games ask for. That's totally fine. This is a full-fledged release. There's a lot here that they've added onto. The game itself is short. It'll only run you about 30 minutes. If you know what branch you're taking, I think it's aptly priced that they're even bringing House of the Dead back. For those of you who don't know, the original source code was lost when Sega was moving studios. That's why we haven't seen any ports of it outside of the Sega Saturn release. Big question for all you fans out there. How will the controls work in House of the Dead Remake? You're going to be able to use both analog and buttons, and gyro, aka Euro aiming. Combined controls are also available, so if you just want to use your analog and buttons, that's fine. If you want to go for that more authentic light gun feel, just do gyro. Gyro works for a pair of Joy-Cons as well as with a single Joy-Con. Pro controllers work as well. If you only own a Nintendo Switch Lite, you will be able to use standard controls. The game is going to have numerous options for the gyro, such as reset, aim assist, which is also available for analog as well, sensitivity, you can revert the XY axis, and control mode. But what about the crappy voice acting from the original? We love it so much, we don't want to see it go away. I love B-horror movies, you say. Are you wondering about the original OST or voiceovers that were included? Are you wondering if they're going to add those into the House of the Dead Remake? Here's what I was able to find. So it looks like Remake is going to have a new OST and voice actors inspired by the original game. Voiceover is available in English and subtitled in 9 languages. So just like the Japanese release, English is the default audio, everything else is going to be text. This does not confirm or deny if the OST from the original game is going to be there along with the original voice acting, because we know how much we love that. But Mr. MegaYoYo, what if I don't own a Wii? Well, amigo, I'm sorry to say, but for now, it's only going to be Nintendo Switch exclusive. Unsure if it's going to come to other platforms or VR. Now let's take a look at some of the options and features that are going to be available in the House of the Dead Remake. Local co-op. Everybody knows that, right? It's not a House of the Dead game without co-op. Canonically, this game is beaten in 2 players. You're going to have new achievements. You're also going to have cheat codes. What those do, I don't know. There's no specific cheat codes that have been said. All I know is that cheat codes will be in the game. We're going to have a gallery with monsters now. This is going to include a 3D model, the name, the description of the monster, and a weak point. We're also going to get Horde mode, up to 15 times more monsters. How Horde mode is going to work, I don't know. It seems kind of fun though, just to be blasting away. Hopefully we get access to the entire new armory that has been implemented into the game. Story mode is of course a given, can't beat a game without a story. gyro controls, which have been mentioned before, alongside the analog plus buttons. You're also going to have different scoring options for you nerds who love numbers. There's going to be classic and modern. I'll get more into that later. There's also going to be 4 difficulty modes: easy, normal, hard, and arcade. They'll play differently. I'll get into that later as well. We're going to have an armory as well, unlockable weapons. The original only had the pistol, but now it seems like we have a shotgun and an assault rifle from what I saw. Enemies and paths from the original game are going to be implemented. I'm pretty sure they're not going to add any new branches, so if you know this game like the back of your hand, you'll be able to maneuver the branches in which way you see fit. All 3 endings from the original game will be here. You're going to have a good ending, a normal ending, and a bad ending. I'm not going to spoil them here, you'll find them out depending on your performance. Performance mode, more FPS, more first-person shooters, that's what everybody wants.
This is terrible.
There's also going to be leaderboards with statistics. This includes IGT, not really sure what that means, international gaming theory maybe? You're also going to have different colors to choose for player 1 and player 2. Not really sure what this means, but I know the default for player 1 is red, default for player 2 is blue. Maybe you'll be able to change the colors around and pick other colors. I know in the original game you could choose the blood color. You could pick purple, you could pick blue, you could pick green, you could pick yellow and red. You'll be able to hide the UI, and you'll also be able to scale the UI to whatever you want. Photo mode will also be included if you want to take some cool shots of your favorite monkeys. Your Sophie, best waifu of the House of the Dead series.
Thank you.
There's also a after release patch that will be coming, which is cowboy mode. If you don't know what cowboy mode is, it means that one player can use 2 weapons while dual wielding Joy-Cons. Well, you know what that means, partner. Time to giddy up. Alright, now going back to the health and scoring system that I aforementioned, how will the score work in the new remake? In classic, scoring mode is based on the classic arcade version for the game. In modern, a new scoring system made for the remake includes numerous point multipliers to upgrade your score. Seems like the only difference here is that with modern, you'll be able to find multipliers to get a much higher score than you were able to in the original arcade format. And there are also different multiplayer modes. You can do cooperative, which is 1 score for both players and only 10 credits. So you share those 10 credits. In competitive, both players can earn points separately and each one has 10 credits. Now here's an interesting change that I found. This is the new health system according to which difficulty you pick. Each time you start a game, you're going to start off with max health. You start with 3 points of health and you can have a max of 5 points at a time. You will lose 1 point on normal difficulty with bosses and enemies with weapons. So if the enemy does not have a weapon, you will only lose half a point. This does not apply to hard and arcade difficulty. Every hit will always take 1 point away. Half point is taken in easy difficulty, so when you pick easy difficulty, you only lose half points on every hit. In normal difficulty, you'll lose half a point to enemies without weapons. You can regain some of those points back through first aid kits. First aid kits can be found in destroyable environmental details, and they are also given by certain rescued scientists. You can also get them at the end of the stage if you rewarded enough scientists as well. Needless to say, but each first aid kit adds 1 point of health back. Or, you know, if you've reached your max 5, I don't think it does anything good for you. But where is the light gun? I want me a big old badass gun. Well guys, so far the game is designed to play with the Joy-Cons and their gyro. You know, point at the screen and shoot. It doesn't seem like they've confirmed or denied. I'm not sure we'll ever see a light gun peripheral for the Switch. I know the Wii had one, the PS Move had one. Those are great stuff. Maybe they'll make one for the Switch, but at this point it doesn't seem like there's a lot of light gun games out there. So I don't think we're going to be seeing one for a while. Is the continue system in the game? Well, I sure hope better it is. You start with 10 continues as mentioned before. If you run out of credits, you can use 5,000 points to buy a new continue when you die. If you don't want to use a continue, you got 10 seconds and then that's it. Bye bye to your score. I'm sure they'll still have the cool screen where it shows you your path when you die. The most important question of all that we reach here. Will the game feature the shoot outside of the screen sound? The game will let you know when you run out of bullets. Unfortunately, no, the game will not be having that, but the game, however, has a brand new recorded reload sound. Can't get much better than that, boys. And girls. So that's all the info that I was able to find on the upcoming House of the Dead remake. It answers most of our questions. I know it answers mine. I'm not sure if you have any. If you do, please leave them below. Maybe I'll do some digging and find an answer for you, but at the moment, most of the stuff that you'll need to make your decision will be here. I for sure will end up buying it. I love House of the Dead. I've loved it since I was a baby. Not a baby, I'm sorry. I was probably like 9 when I picked up House of the Dead 2 on the arcade. But you know what I'm saying. Don't be weird. If you found the video helpful, guys, please support me out, leave a like, share it with your homies. Make sure to subscribe because when the game comes out, this channel is going to be flooded with it. And if you're a big House of the Dead fan, please. I always love to chat with you guys. What do you think about the game? Is it shaping up to what you want it to be? It's been forever since we've gotten a port of the original. I know this isn't the original, but it's nice to see it back in the hands of long-awaited fans. See you guys in the next video. Peace, homies.